Shahar, welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to be talking about my favorite queer ships for Valentine's Day from different books and TV shows. And I think I have a list of non-canons as well. Yes, I do. From different books and TV shows. So yeah. So actually I'm going to start the non-canon list. So I have Merlin and Arthur from the TV show Merlin. Absolutely love them, and yes, I do ship them. I just thought there was definitely something, even if you don't ship them romantically, like you can't deny that their bond is, they're more connected than even Arthur and Gwen. My mom loves Arthur and Gwen and doesn't ship Merlin and Arthur romantically, but even she can say, like, yeah, there's something about their bond that's even greater than Arthur's bond with Gwen. And yeah. And then I have Dean and Cass from Supernatural. This one, 110%. Ship them, love them, always has. My mom has never actually seen Supernatural except for clips, edits, things I've shown her, things like that. And even she said, yeah, there's something going on between Dean and Cass. So, like, it's obvious for everyone. And then I have Dracula and Laguna from Monster High, specifically G3. I do not like G2. Love G1 and G3. No G3 hate allowed on this page. And I ship Dracula and Laguna from the G3 version. I do. I don't ship them in G1, but I definitely ship them in G3. There's just something there. Then I have Agrel and Lahari from the Mantis Gland series. This series doesn't actually have romance, which is something I love because I do think, even though I'm talking about romance in this video, as ships I do love, I still think romance is overrated. And there's a beauty about friendships and found family that I dive more into than anything. Though if I find a ship that I love, I will obviously, love them and talk about them and obsess over them. But I also love a good friendship and found family, and that's what this series is. Don't get me wrong, there are friendship, there are a little romance, mostly this one couple, which will be in the video, so I'll get to it. But mostly it's friendship and found family, which is something I love. There are so many friendships on here that I absolutely love, characters that I absolutely love. And the found family is phenomenal. But I can't lie. I will not lie because in the first book, I definitely actually shipped Lahari and Agrel. Okay? And there was just something about them, and there's just one scene in particular that I always think of. Wait, I don't remember I only read the series once, though I do plan to buy this series eventually and have it on my physical shelf and reread it because I do love this series so much. And so I'm excited for when that day happens. But because there's one scene in particular, so I'm not gonna remember it word for word, but where Lahari says something about being like, because to understand, she's like a part of the supernatural but unlike a lot of the other people in this universe with powers, her powers transformed her physical body as well, so she looked like kind of a giant lizard sort of thing. And Lahari made a comment about not being like ugly, monstrous, whatever, and Agrel made a comment about how she's beautiful, she's amazing, and she's not afraid of her. And like I said, I don't remember the scene word for word. But I absolutely love that scene, and it's one I always think of because it was so sweet. Lahari had been used to being seen as a freak by everyone except for her dads, even her bio mom. But so other than her two dads, she was always seen as this freak, a monster, ugly, horrid. But then Agrel comes. Agrel, I can go on and on about my love for Agrel, anyways. But Agrel's just the kind of person that doesn't care. Like, she is just so kind and sweet, and she will love you for you. And she looked at at Lahari and didn't see a monster. Like, this is also one of their first meetings. Like, I'm pretty sure this is the first time Agro actually sees Lahari face to face, and her first instinct was say, "You're not ugly, you're beautiful, you're not a monster," and I just love that. So there's my little rant and for why I ship them. I also have Addie and Janae from One of Us is Lying. Mostly the TV show. I don't remember actually shipping them a whole lot in the book, but watching the TV show, I 100% ship them. um, there was just something about them, and I love them, and I really wish that they had become canon instead of Janae and I don't remember her name now, but Bronwyn's younger sister. Because I just really shipped Addie and Janae. And then I also have Rudolph and Tony from Billy the Vampire, the animated movie. Because I know there's a live action one that I never watched, but I love the animated movie and I love Rudolph and Tony. And don't tell me that there wasn't something going on because Rudolph was legit jealous when Tony was under his sister's spell and she was flirting with him. Not to mention there was a scene in particular that he was legit just flirty, and my sister and I, when we watched that, we were like, "Yeah, that was definitely flirtatious right there." Now for TV shows. I have a bit of a long list. So there's Amity and Luz from the Owl House. I am obsessed with them. I love them. They are amazing. The Owl House deserve to be on longer, and I deserve more of them because I absolutely love Amity and Luz. They are, I just love them. So yeah, and I love their dynamic, like how they went from not liking each other more on Amy's part. I think because I was actually rewatching some with my sister because I got her into it as well, and I made a comment. I was like, Amity definitely realized her feelings for Luz before Luz did. Luz realized her own feelings, but I think Luz actually fell first because Luz was trying so hard to get close to Amity, even though Amity was not interested. And I think Luz low key had feelings for Amity from the very beginning. I just don't think she realized it because I don't think she even realized she was bi until she met Amity. But yeah, I absolutely love them. I also have Raj and Bowie from the Total Drama reboot. So I loved Total Drama Island and the Total Drama series when I was younger, but I never actually finished it. I think I watched the first maybe 3 seasons, and I never continued after that. And season 1 was the one I watched the most, honestly. But not that long ago. It was like later last year when I finally was like, you know what? I'm going to watch the entire show. And I found out there was a reboot. And I watched the spin-off, which was only 1 season. So I finally watched all, what is there, 5 seasons? Because there's Island, Action, World Tour. Then there's Pakatu Island, there's All Stars, and there's one more with the All Star cast. I just don't remember what it's called. So yeah, I think that's 5 seasons plus the 1 season spin-off of Redonkulous Race, and then there's 2 seasons to the reboot, which I haven't. I don't think they've been canceled yet, but they haven't been renewed yet, and I feel like they should have been by now if there's gonna be another season, which sucks because I do like the show and I think it should be on longer. And maybe I'm saying that because I'm a little bit biased because I love Raj and Boy so much, and I'm not ready to say goodbye to them. They were so cute. I absolutely love them. Uh, and there's so many things I could say about them because, like I said, I just don't think the Total Drama reboot gets the love it deserves. I'm not sure Total Drama gets the love it deserves. There's also the spinoff with them as kids, which I did see some of because I was bored one day and I was curious. It was but um, I thought Raj and Boy were so cute, and I also love Raj's friendship with Wayne and the supportive. Like when Raj and Bowie had a moment, Wade was like, "I think my best friend is a little gay," and it was so cute because then he ends up actually seeing the two of them kiss for the first time. Um, and he was like, "Oh my gosh, I'm so excited for him to tell me," and then when he wasn't telling him. He was so scared that he thought that Raj thought that Wayne wouldn't be supportive. That Wayne did everything that next episode to prove to Raj that he would be supportive just so Raj would feel comfortable enough to tell him. And I think that's the cutest thing ever. We need more friendships like this and more supports like this. And it was just adorable. But I'm getting off topic a little bit. Raj and Boy, adorable. I absolutely love them. And I hope there's another season just so I can have more of them. um, I also have Tara and Willow, one of my very first queer ships, if not my very first. I actually it would have been my very first queer ship because I've been watching Charmed and Buffy are two of the first shows I really remember getting into, and I've been into them since I was really little, and as long as I can remember, really. And so Tara and Willow were probably my very first queer ship I was ever introduced to, and I love them. And don't get me wrong, I still think to this day that Tara deserves better than Willow. I'm not gonna lie, I do. Because I think what Willow did was inexcusable. But I do still love them, and Tara still deserved a better ending than that after everything she's been through, not just with Willow, but everything her family put her through, everything Glory put her through, and then everything Willow put her through, and then she just gets shot. Like, no. Tara deserved better. But I do still think they're very cute, and I wish they were endgame. Other than Willow's actual endgame. Because here's the thing. Why can't characters end up single? Like, Buffy and Xander both ended up single, even though, because Buffy had a thing with Spike, Xander had a thing with Anya. They both died in the finale. They both ended up single. Willow lost the love of her life. Then there was this whole thing in season 7 where she literally turned herself into Tara's killer out of anger and at herself for kissing somebody because she never thought she would kiss anyone after Tara. And then she kissed somebody and she felt guilty. And then she does this whole thing where she falls to her knees screaming at the universe, saying, it was my fault. I should have saved you, blah, 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 proving that she wasn't over this. She needed more time to heal because it was a very short time since Tara even died. And they did this entire episode showing that Willow's grief was still very relevant and that she shouldn't be in a relationship right now. But they still pushed her with this relationship with Kennedy, who the fan base hates, who is the opposite of everything Willow, like, if you just look at Willow's 3 love interests as Oz, Tara, and Kennedy, there's one that does not match, and that is Kennedy. But I'm done with that rant for today. Maybe one of these days I'll make a video on my TV channel about why Willow wasn't ready to be in a relationship with Kennedy and why they should have nipped it in the bud. But we'll see. Jake and Devin from the Chucky TV show. So I actually watched the Chucky TV show before I watched most of the Chucky movies. And but I finally watched all the Chucky movies in order with my mom and sister, and then we watched the TV show. And the TV show is still by far my favorite part of the Chucky universe. I absolutely love it. I will rewatch it 110 times, okay? And I love it. Jake and Devin, oh my gosh, I love them. And I love how healthy their relationship is. And one thing I will always say, because there's so many times where shows will not know what to do with a couple, and so they'll just break them up, turn them all toxic to excuse them being broken up, and then bring them back together, even though all the toxicity that broke them up was never really resolved. You just wanted to put them back together. And I really hate when things do that. But Jake and Devin, they managed in season 2, they never once broke up, but they managed to still have angst and tension and fights without ever breaking up. And they got through it together. And I love it. They are so healthy. They are so cute. I absolutely love them. And yeah. And I really want another season because they did not deserve that ending. Moving on. Zoe and Rasha from Degrassi Next Class. So I was never into Degrassi, and honestly, the only Degrassi show I watched is Next Class. I saw a little bit of Next Generation that has to do with the characters from Next Class because I love those characters. But Zoe, I absolutely love. Don't get me wrong, she wasn't always the nicest person, but she definitely had her. Like I said, I watched some episodes that have to do with the Next Class characters, so I saw some of Next Generation and some of the crap Zoe went through, and it's heartbreaking. But everything her mom puts her through because her mom is just so homophobic, and Zoe fighting with herself so hard to fight being gay because of her mother is so sad, and but her finding love in Rasha was so beautiful, and Rasha was there for her, and I feel like they were exactly what each other needed because they both been through a lot, and I absolutely loved watching them. I also have Zoe, or not Zoe, Elena and Sid from One Day at a Time, and another one that I absolutely love. One Day at a Time is an underrated show. This is the reboot. I've never seen the original, but I absolutely love the show, and it deserves another season as well. um, but so I keep wanting to say Zoe. Elena definitely had her turmoil because she, like, her father kind of walked out on her consent, embarrassed her, didn't when it was time for her to do her father daughter dance because she walked out in a suit showcasing the world that she was a lesbian, I guess, was his stop point. Um, and so, but then she ends up meeting Sid, who is non binary, and they immediately hit it off once they start talking. They have so much in common. They both are activists, fight for women rights, gay rights. They both love to do like Comic Cons. They're both huge nerds, and their relationship is just so adorable. And I feel like they definitely have a healthy outlook, like how they were planning on breaking up before college because they were like long distance don't always work, but then they decided that they don't want to break up, so they want to try to make it work, and it was just so sweet. Um, uh, Alec and Magnus from Shadowhunters is another one that's really cute. I absolutely love them. Alec is my favorite character, and Alec and Magnus are obviously my favorite ship. I love their relationship and how Alec never truly felt like himself, was never able to be with anyone because he never thought he could, and then he falls for the one person, and then like they're so opposites too. Alec is definitely a homebody. He's definitely more reserved, afraid of opening up, and then Magnus is the complete opposite. Yeah, he has trouble opening up sometimes, especially later on. I feel like, but he's more outgoing, and the two of them are just so opposites. But it's one of those things where it's like opposites definitely attract. They are exactly what the other needed. I also have Alex and Michael from Roswell, New Mexico. Oh my gosh, I love this. I love them, and the show and the ship does not get the love it deserves. I just love their growth. Like, you technically meet them at they already know each other. They haven't seen each other in 10 years. But you do see in flashbacks. There's an entire flashback episode where you see a lot of what happened in high school. So that you understand where the characters are now and what exactly happened to lead them here. And one of the things was Alex and Michael's relationship, and you get to see because obviously they knew each other because they went to the same small town school, but they didn't really know each other. So you see them really have their first interaction. You see them talking, getting closer, and even falling in love. And and it's just really adorable. And then you see them, even though it's been 10 years, even though they both had craft to figure out, you've watched them get to heal separately in order to find their way to each other because they knew that one day they would be back together. It was just a matter of when. And one of my favorite scenes, and I absolutely love this song. I listen to it on Spotify a lot. It's called "Would You Come Home," and Alex sings it, and it's a song about Michael. And Michael says that it's not time for them yet, but it will be. Like he was like, "Yeah, we're going to be together," and it was just really sweet. They were both the kind of like, "Yeah, it's been 10 years, but I'll wait as long as it takes to be with you" kind of thing, and I absolutely love it. I have two ships from the Arrowverse, Sarah and Ava from Legends of Tomorrow, and Alex and Kelly from Supergirl. Sarah and Ava, I feel like gets a lot of love. I see a lot of people talk about them on Twitter and stuff, and I absolutely love them. And they are so I love their growth because they like Sarah believes she was a monster because of everything from her past. Ava real found out she was a clone and thought that she was unworthy of love, but they managed to love each other and come together. Then there's Alex and Kelly, which I think is a very underrated ship because a lot of people talk about Alex and Maggie. I did not like Alex and Maggie. I didn't like Maggie as a character, but then they brought in Kelly, and they showed you who you already knew who Alex was, but they showed you who Kelly was before they, because Kelly wasn't just brought in to be Alex's girlfriend, which is sometimes the case. They bring in a new character just to be like a love interest, and sometimes they, um, and I love how they defined Kelly's character before she became Alex's love interest. So she had her own character before she was a love interest, which is something that sometimes ships the characters lack. And I absolutely love what they did with this ship and how they became foster moms. They got married, and I do. And people just don't appreciate them as much, because, but I think they definitely need to, because this is like the amazing ship of Supergirl, and they deserve to be talked about more. I think they had such a beautiful dynamic, and they were so good to each other, and I think Kelly's what Alex needed, not Maggie. I think Kelly gave Alex everything she needed. For one, Alex Maggie didn't see eye to eye on things like kids, and Kelly was obviously wanting kids because they ended up fostering a child together. And I just think that Kelly was exactly what Alex needed. I also have Callie and Arizona from Grey's Anatomy. I don't think I need to say too much about them. They're definitely a popular ship, and Grey's Anatomy is a very popular show. But I definitely ship them. They're not my favorite Grey's Anatomy ship, but they're definitely up there. Probably top three, if not top three, then top five. But they're up there. I love them, and they were definitely done dirty, and it was um, implied that they got back together. And I know I'm still behind on Grey's Anatomy, so I haven't actually seen the episode where Arizona returns. But apparently, from what I've heard, she never mentions Callie. So even though when Arizona first left, it implies that there might be something going on between the two of them. When she returns, she never says that there is and confirms it, which I think is bogus, but okay. And there's Santana and Brittany from Glee. This is another ship that I feel like is very popular, and this is my favorite Glee ship. I will say that. I absolutely love them. Well, I think it's a toss up between them and Finn and Rachel, to be honest. It's like a neck and neck sort of thing. But I absolutely love them. And I love how I'm a sucker for best friends to lovers. I am. And I think best friends to lovers is overlooked sometimes. And I think there's so much yearning and there can be so much angst and everything from best friends to lovers that people don't realize. And I think it's better. Don't get me wrong. I like a good enemies to lovers if done right. But I feel like very few times is it actually done right. But I love best friends to lovers, and I feel like even more than enemies to lovers. And give me slow burn best friends to lovers, I will eat that stuff up. Okay, I love it. But um, Santana and Brittany were best friends, and we don't know exactly how long they've been best friends, to be honest. I don't think it ever mentions. I haven't seen Glee in a really long time, to be honest. But you get to see them go from being best friends and all the way to being something more, and how Santana had trouble admitting her feelings for Brittany to her and then to anyone else, admitting that she was a lesbian because of her, homophobic grandmother and because of all the crap Kerr went through. She was afraid she was going to go through it. But then again, I don't think that was actually ever going to happen just because Santana isn't afraid to like just completely demolish you if you attempt to do half the crap that was done to her. But anyways, and I love it because everyone always deemed Brittany as dumb, and I don't think there was a single person that didn't call Brittany dumb. But then there was Santana saying, "You're a genius, Brittany. You know how smart you are, right, Brittany?" And stuff like that. And I think from the very beginning, Santana saw how different Brittany was, and saw how genius she could be. And then on Brittany's part, Brittany knew that Santana wasn't the horrible person everyone thought she was. Don't get me wrong, she wasn't a nice person, and she could definitely be mean. But Brittany definitely saw her softer side that I think only Brittany could bring out. And one thing I loved about the proposal was when Santana said to Brittany, "Some people love somebody because they make them a better person, but that's not why I love you. I love you because you always just wanted me to be myself," which is so beautiful. Like Brittany didn't expect Santana to become a better person, and she just wanted her to be herself and be open about it because Santana did struggle to come out for so long. And I just thought that whole speech with Santana's proposal was beautiful because of that fairy line. Um, I also have Alex and Willie from Julie and the Phantoms, another ship that is not talked about enough because I think they get overshadowed by Julie and Luke. And but Alex and Willie were so cute. I love Julie and Luke too, don't get me wrong. But I just love it because Alex is like this really shy, scared boy, and then Willie's like super like outgoing and stuff. And yeah, Willie does technically betray him, but he didn't mean to. He didn't think that it was gonna get this far. But he did also risk his own soul to tell Willie the truth and get him out of this like deal he accidentally got himself into, which is just so sweet. And I really wanted a season 2 for many reasons. One of the reasons was to find out what happened to Willie and see if Willie and Alex could still be together. um, and Frankie and Cleo from Monster High G3, not G1, G3. I absolutely love them together. In the Monster High TV show, oh my gosh, they were so adorable. Frankie gets so shy around Cleo, which is funny because they don't get shy very often. And then Cleo, like she can be a lot, but she like softens and gets down a bit for Frankie, and it's just so adorable. Um, and then Mark and Nathaniel from Miraculous. Oh my gosh, I absolutely love them. And I love because for so long he like yeah, there was the main episode where the two for early on where the two end up deciding to work on a project together, and there was like a few scenes with them in that episode leading up to them working together. But after that, like they were always sitting next to each other, they were always together, and I know they haven't officially become canon yet, but in a season 6 episode that has to do with couples, at the end when it showed all the couples kissing, them they were one of them. So even though they're not technically dating yet, the show that shows that is the path they are on. Because they definitely have feelings for each other. um, then I have Alice and Robin from Once Upon a Time. So season 7 obviously is not the best Once Upon a Time season. I don't think it's the worst though. That's just because I really have issues with season 6, mostly because they underutilize a lot of things. But I'm not gonna go down that rabbit hole right now. But uh, once, but the last season, it got a lot. Obviously, it's not the best season by far, but I always say that the things they got right was one, the finale, because I absolutely love that finale. It was perfect. Two is the end of the finale with Regina's speech and the flashbacks. I'm a sucker for flashbacks, and that scene always makes me cry. And then number three would be Alice and Robin. They are one of my, if not my favorites, Once Upon a Time ship. And I'm sad they only got last season, and like I think we should, even if we couldn't see their wedding, I wanted to see their proposal because in the last episode Robin does ask Alice's father Hook for his permission to marry Alice, and I thought that was so adorable, but we never actually get to see their proposal. I want to see the proposal, even if they just make a little skit of the two of them acting out the proposal and release it. Like, I want to see it. But anyways, I absolutely love them. And you get to see like how they meet, and because Multiple Time has the funniest meet cutes, and of course it starts off with Robin pulling an arrow on Alice, and so she and then you see them slowly get closer in the slowly getting closer in the flashbacks, but then you also see them meeting again in this new timeline with their memories erased, and you can see that instant connection, like they kind of remember without remembering, and you see them getting close again and falling for each other a second time, which you get to see with a lot of these Once Upon a Time couples, because a lot of times they end up in um curses like this, so where they end up meeting again and falling in love again. Um, and so getting to see them fall in love again, and then like when Alice was in that trance because of her mother, and Robin gets her out of that trance, or she starts to get it, and then Alice wakes up, and then the two of them kiss. It's just such a beautiful scene, and I absolutely love them. Um, let's see. I have Emily and Maya from Pretty Little Liars, an underrated ship to say the least. I absolutely love them. They only really lasted the first two seasons, unfortunately, because Maya does die. But Maya's death, when her friends have to hold her back, because as they carry out the body, like that scene always gets me. And I think Emily doesn't always have the best track record with love, but Maya was by far the best option. And I absolutely loved them together. Then I have Cheryl and Tony from Riverdale, another one that I absolutely love. They're my second favorite Riverdale ship, um, and I absolutely love them. And it's one of those things. It's like even though Riverdale did go downhill, one good thing about season 7 was showing that the two of them still had a thing for each other and showing them getting their end game. Even though there's at least one other couple in my eyes that deserve their end game, but I'm gonna digress. But I'm glad they got their end game. They definitely deserve it. Absolutely love how Cheryl had obviously been through a lot. Her mother abused her, her father killed her brother, and but Tony was able to break down her walls and see that and Tony was the first person that told Cheryl that you're not a horrible person and you're not loveless and you are amazing, and I think that's just beautiful. I love the idea of a character who's been through a lot, going through so much, and then thinking they're like a monster, thinking they're unlovable, but then that one person meets them and in 2 seconds is like, you know what, you're amazing. Don't let anyone fool you otherwise. I love those ship dynamics. So what can I say? Um, and then there's Korra and Asami from Legend of Korra, another I don't know how underrated they are, but I know a lot of people didn't see them coming and think they just threw them in together the last 5 minutes. If you actually watch the show, it is a slow burn. I will die on that hill. Okay, I mean season 1 obviously they didn't. I think I'm not a fan of love triangles, but I think they did their love triangle really well, and I love how they were able to show that because with love triangles, it's always like the two people hate each other because they're after the middle person. The two of them actually become friends, Korra and Asami, even though they both have feelings for Mako. But then in season 2, there's more of the love triangle drama, even though you think that's over when Mako chose Korra in season 1. But then more stuff happens when Korra and Mako are always fighting because they're very toxic. And then Asami and Korra kiss each other. But then in season 3, they both like, okay, let's forget the boy. We're best friends now. But then in season 3, you can definitely see there's like several episodes where they're just together, fighting, doing this, doing that. And you can see that there's something. I don't care. Maybe it's just me, but you can't. But even if you didn't see it in season 3, I will be like, fine, okay, I accept that. But if you don't see by the beginning of season 4 that there was something there, then I think you're just either blind or homophobic. Because there's no way that you didn't see these two people reunite after 3 years, and when they hug, they are legit blushing. Like this isn't like live action. This is a cartoon. The animators had to actually animate them blushing, and they were legit blushing. And then the fact that Korra only wrote to Asami for those 3 years that she was MIA. Like, isn't that gonna tell you something? And I think it was obvious. I think it started becoming obvious in season 3, but I think it was definitely obvious by the beginning of season 4. And yet people still say that the last 5 minutes were rushed. It came out of nowhere. No, they did not. I don't care who you are. They did not come out of nowhere. Anyways, moving on. I digress. Carlos and TK from 911 Lone Star. I absolutely love them. They're so cute. I haven't actually finished last season. I know I'm so behind on so many shows, but I will at some point. But I absolutely love them. Like I think they gave each other what they needed, and I just absolutely love their relationship. I love their proposal. The way TK proposes to Carlos wasn't like this grand thing, but it was so beautiful, and I absolutely loved it. And then their wedding, even though Carlos was going through so much, but their wedding was so beautiful, and I absolutely love their relationship. And then I have Isaac and Nigel from Ghost. This one is a little because they're not together anymore. Isaac and Nigel technically actually deserves better than Isaac, but I still ship them. And I still hope that they can find their way back to each other. And from what the actor said, they said that this isn't the last they've seen of Nigel, or Nigel and Isaac, so maybe we'll see. But yeah. And then Luna and Sam from Loud House is an underrated one. But then again, I think Luna and Sam are Loud House is underrated. Or maybe not, because I feel like, I mean, there's 8 seasons of Loud House, plus there's a live action show that's 2 seasons, a live action movie, a good 3 or so animated movies, not to mention the spin off of the Casa Grandes, which I have no idea how long that show is. I haven't actually watched that show yet. I'm on season 7 of Loud House. But yeah, so maybe it's not that underrated. I just never hear anyone talk about it. But I absolutely love Luna and Sam. Because the episode where you find out that Luna's crush was Sam was golden, and then watching, like, you get to see their first date, and you get to see them, and I just absolutely love the relationship. You can see some of the relationship as well in the live action series, and it's so good. I wish we got to see more of them. I know it's about the family, which I love, but I do wish that Luna or Sam is on a little bit more. Charlie and Yuri from what's it called? The School Spirits. I've been falling in love with them. They are so adorable. We're on season 3, and Yuri was only introduced in season 2, but I absolutely love them. And I love because I think Yuri's exactly what Charlie needed. Charlie was like so insecure, so thinking he's horrible, but then Yuri comes along and just is honestly like so in love with him, and is so adorable, and I absolutely love watching them. Cooper and Chris from One of Us is Lying. So obviously One of Us Lying is from a book, and I have I honestly I don't remember much of my thoughts on them when I was reading the book, but I absolutely love them in the show. I think they fleshed them out more in the show and showed them more in the show, than they did in the book. But I thought they were so cute, and there were so many scenes where I absolutely loved them, and yeah. That's it for TV shows. And then so book queer ships that I absolutely love. So I have Robin and Art from A Dance of Bone and Blade by Ellie Lieberman. This, oh my gosh, I read this recently. I actually Betty read this book. It's finally out though, so you guys can grab it too. It's a Robin and King Arthur retelling, which I thought was very interesting. But it's sapphic. Art is the Arthur part, obviously, and then Robin is obviously the Robin Hood part. And it's funny because they have this like hatred for each other because they hate everything they stand for. But then they end up having this flirtatious thing going on with them as well, and they end up Robin and her thieves and Art and her knights end up going on this journey to try to help the kingdom. And so they're forced to be around each other. It's not just Robin and Art who don't get along; it's the knights and the thieves that don't get along. So there's always this bickering. But Robin and Art, despite all of that, despite their differences, despite where they stand in society, despite being against everything the other stands for, they managed to fall in love. And there's so many scenes of them that I absolutely fell in love with, and it took like 2 seconds for me to absolutely love this ship, I swear. I also have Celica and Angelina from Towers of Memories by Alyssa Lattit. Also another great ship. This is also a series that has to do more with the friendships, which I love, because Alyssa is probably tired of me talking about, or she says she will never get tired of me talking about how much I love Seraphina and Feathers' friendship. So I'm glad she said that, because she's never gonna hear the end of it. But I will say that I absolutely love Celica and Angelina's romantic relationship as well. They are so adorable. They're more of a side theme because it is in Seraphina's point of view, but I do love what we get of them, and they're just so adorable, and I hope we get more of them. Because they're also so opposites. I love a good opposites attract sort of thing too. Angelina is like the definition of sunshine. Okay, she's bubbly. Then there's Celica. How do I explain Celica? She's Celica. That's all I can say. But the two of them together, I feel like actually work, despite how opposite they are. But then you can say that about Angelina and Serafina as well as friends because they are opposites. Even though Serafina and Celica butt heads sometimes, Serafina's more on the moody side, like Celica. Maybe not as so, but then Angelina's bubbly. But even though Angelina's bubbly, she apparently likes the chaos and the moodiness of the dragons because she's always with them. I digress. I also have the Mystic and his husband. From Mantis Gland series by Adam Andrews Johnson. Another great ship that I absolutely love. They are so. I absolutely love them. Like I said, this series, I already mentioned this series, and they are more of a found family friendship sort of series. But we do get some romance with the two of them, and the way they love each other so much and love their daughter so much, despite her differences. And but they accept everyone, and they kind of started they took in Dozy, Agrel, and Elira in the very beginning, and as well as having their daughter Lahari, and all four of them are very different people than what society wants them to be, but they kind of took them in and became like these, I guess, figures for people who don't have parent figures, kind of like uh Peggy and Datu later on. Um and yeah, but they're so adorable. Also a series by a book from Adam Andrews Johnson is Tawny and Bix from a newer book of his, The Librarian and the Assassin. I read this before it was published as well, and they were so cute, and I love how healthy their relationship was because, like I said about Jake and Devin, like yeah, they go through obstacles, but they always try to work it out together because they love each other, and they I definitely had a connection from the moment they met, and they managed to get through everything together. Then I have Jesper and Wylan from Six of Crows. So has to be one of my all time favorite ships. Have been ever since I read this book. Okay, I love all three Crow ships. But Jesper and Wylan will always be my favorite. I am obsessed. Okay, and I'm currently rereading Six Crows. Well, I finished rereading Six Crows. I'll be starting Crooked Kingdom soon, and I also love them in the Shadow and Bone TV show. I love them in both versions. I just love their like banter, their flirtatiousness, how flustered Wylan gets, and it's also funny because they both see each other so low and see the other one so high, and yet they don't understand how the other can see themselves so low. And Wylan sees himself so low because he can't read or write because his father made him feel like crap. Jesper thinks he's just a thug like Kaz. So, but then he sees Wylan as this amazing guy. Wylan sees Jesper as this amazing guy, and they just match. And I absolutely love their relationship. And then there's Nico and Will from the Percy Jackson universe. Another one I absolutely love. So I read, and I'm so happy they finally have their own story because they deserve it. Because the first time you really see anything about them is at the end of Heroes of Olympus. I don't think you really see any scenes with them until book 5, the last book. And there's just little things because there's too much going on. But then you see little more things in Trials of Apollo. Not a whole lot because it's obviously not about the two of them. But now they have their own book, The Sun and the Star, which I have read. And then they have a sequel book I have not read yet, but I got one for birthday and one for Christmas. So I'm going to reread Sun and the Star and read The Court of the Dead finally, soon-ish, hopefully, now that I actually have them physically. And I'm so excited because I absolutely love the relationship. And like, and it once again it goes to the whole thing where Nico thinks he's so horrible. He's the son of Hades. He's darkness, and then he sees Will as this light, and it's just an awesome dynamic. Um, and then I have Theo and Jamie from St. Juniper's Frawley. This was really interesting. It was a paranormal sort of book, and basically Theo is trapped inside. No, Jamie. I always get them mixed up for some reason. Jamie is trapped inside this house, and he doesn't know why. So Theo ends up meeting him, when walking and seeing that he's trapped, and ends up getting help with a female. I forgot her name. I haven't read this book in forever. I think it's been at least a couple years, but I just remember absolutely loving them, and there's still scenes I remember of the two of them that just really stuck with me, and I just absolutely love their dynamic. Apparently, it's a theme about me liking the dynamic of one person thinking they're horrible, the other person thinking they're not. Because once again, this ship has that. And then I think the last ship I'm going to be talking about is Morgan and Hannah from These Witches Don't Burn. It's a duology, and it's such a good duology. And abs- absolutely loved their dynamic in this one. They were so cute to witness, and I just absolutely loved it. And that is all. So thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe and comment. If you like any of these ships, if there's any queer ships that you absolutely love that I did not talk about, and if you know any fantasy books with queer ships, definitely let me know because I want some more. So I will chat with you guys below in the comments. Until next time.